War. So, some of you may know, a while ago, got a poll together, and the result of that poll was to, well, determine what the next Hearts of Iron 4 series on my channel would be. And as many of you know, Red World won, while the second result was Equestria at War. Actually, no, that was Equestria War was the third one. The second one was the End of the New Beginning mod. Actually, no, End of the New Beginning was the third one. Equestria War was the second one with 60 votes for the campaign Fascist Birds. And in the case you do not know what the mod is all about, Fascist Birds, we're gonna check it out today, because as you probably know since you've clicked on this video, this is the Equestria War series with the Kingdom of Wingbardy. Yes. So what we are going to do is we are gonna go on veteran difficulty. We are going to strengthen Equestria, the Crystal Empire, the Changelings, Stalliongrad. Actually, apparently you can strengthen a lot of people. Perhaps these are enough so that the game doesn't lag too much. We are also, however, because these people are all on the Equestrian continent, whereas we are on the Griffin continent. So in terms of the Griffin continent, we are going to strengthen the Griffonian Empire by 2, Aquileia by 2, the Griffin Liberation Army by 2, and Wingbardy we're gonna keep the way it is. Now, you're gonna see why we've made these changes in just a little bit. So let's jump right in, actually. Now, I've already played a campaign as Wingbardy a while ago, so I know what to do, generally speaking. So, in case you do not know what this mod is all about, I highly suggest that you go ahead and check out either my mod spotlight on it or some videos from Conquering History Games. And he has a couple that explain what the mod is all about. He's got like a tutorial for the mod. That's pretty good. So yeah, we are the Kingdom of Wingbardy. Now, I'm gonna read all of this because it's relatively interesting, and because you probably do not know anything of what's going on, and I barely know what's going on because, you know, I've played the mod once, but I'm not really like a fan of the show or anything like that. So yeah, reading up on the lore is going to be a thing that I'm going to be doing in this playthrough quite a bit. If you do not like that, then skip ahead, you know, and be ignorant, I guess. So anyway, for centuries, Wingbardy has been the jewel in the Griffonian crown. Now, Griffonia is the Griffonian Empire, which once ruled essentially something like this. Today, it's a bit of a rough state. One of the richest and most prosperous nations in the Empire, it has always been the envy of the North. After the Empire was united under Grover I of Griffinstone, right now we have Grover V, or Grover V, probably a reference to Charles V, of Griffinstone. There has been many attempts to underwhelm its power. This came to a head in 971 ALB, so, you know, a few years prior to the mod, because we're playing in 1007 ALB, probably. When King Grifberto died under suspicious circumstances while attending a party in Griffinheim. So we were a kingdom within the Empire, a bit like the Holy Roman Empire, because the Griffonian Empire is basically the Holy Roman Empire. His son, the newly crowned King Garibald Talunel III, aka us, who is a reference to Vittorio Emanuele III, the King of Italy, during the first half of the 20th century, demanded that the lords of Griffinheim and the Imperial Heartlands launch a full investigation into the incident, but his demands were fell on deaf ears. In protest, Wingbardy officially seceded from the Empire, taking its former vassals of Toulouse, probably a reference to Toulouse, Franmistria, and Arantiga with it. The empire, due to the young emperor and rising instability, was powerless to protest as more and more nations followed in Wingbardy's example. So like Aquileia, I think. Again, I'm not sure. And probably a lot of these counties that are around, and minor houses and towns and cities and republics that have all been created in the power vacuum, and Griffinstone, you know, all this kind of stuff. Weakened by the collapse of the empire and a long and bloody war with Falkor, which is the Falkor Principality over here, to our east, the nation fell into economic crisis. Government after government came to power with the goal of restoring Wingbardy to its former glory, but each new government collapsed under the strain and internal strife. Desperate for a solution, the Griffins of Wingbardy turned to more drastic solutions. The Partito Nazionale Fascista, and yeah, these people are Italian. These birds are Italian, and they're about to become fascist because they have a fascist party over here, led by Giulio Biccolini, and you can probably imagine who he's supposed to be representing, has swelled in numbers, especially among the disillusioned veterans of the Falkor War, just like, you know, the veterans of the Great War. Biccolini has called for a march on Karthin to seize, which is the capital of this state. It's right over here. It's a port. To seize power from the government to begin rebuilding the nation. Meanwhile, the Partito Comunista with 2 M's, because for some reason there's 2 M's, Wingbarda, the Wingbardian Communist Party, led by Antonino Proletarino, has vowed to stop such action. With the threat of civil war rising, the government has remained silent on this issue for now. But what they choose in the coming weeks will seal the fate of the kingdom. Whoever takes charge in the government, their priority should be to solve the nation's economic hardships. Great famine has decimated the already suffering nation. Unemployment is still rampant, and the once mighty industrial sector has fallen behind nations such as Equestria and New Maryland. Now, Equestria is this big, nasty country over here. That's essentially like the big #1 of this universe, and where the like cartoon is set in. And New Maryland is basically the Canada of Equestria. They're on the other continent. They're their colony. These issues have caused many of Wingbardy's best and brightest to leave the nation in search of fortune elsewhere, which is, well, pretty historical with actual Italy, although it wasn't always our best and brightest that left the nation. Finally, there is the issue of the empire to the north and the communist in Priwen to the east. Now, the communist in Priwen will become quite important over here, the Griffin Liberation Army. Both look upon the jewel of the empire with envious eyes. This is the region. You can pause and read this if you want. It's basically describing what our region, or South Griffonia, is like. Mechanics, you know, mechanics is just like expanding on the game. So yeah, pretty much normal stuff. And there's a changelog. So yeah, we're done with that. But we can bring it back up if we so wish at any point with help over here. The welcome screen. There we go. So that's if we need any information on anything. So next up, the army. Our generals are literally just ported over. Well, maybe not entirely ported over, but most of them are just copy-pasted from regular Hearts of Iron 4 Italian generals. So, like, for example, Giovanni Jesse is obviously supposed to be Giovanni Messe. So yeah, we're gonna... Oh, he's got Bearer of Artillery. That's a really powerful trait, so we're taking him. And then in terms of marshals, we're gonna take Graziani. And there we go. So, actually, well, let's first check out the research. We're gonna get the new guns so that we can produce the better equipment. And then new engineering. And let's see if there's any Griffin technologies that we might want to take right at the start. Oh, these are like doctrines. They don't have they don't really have any time limits. Wanted to see if there's any research bonuses in here, but no, it doesn't look like it. So perhaps I'm just going to take the enchanted tools for the extra construction speed, so that then I can get into those very, very awesome technologies over here. Yeah, very, very good. All these are good technologies. However, we do have a bit of a research problem, which we're going to get to in a bit. In terms of factories, since we have Bear of Artillery, we're going to focus heavily on that. 4 factories into artillery. Actually, do we have tungsten? No, we have 3 units of tungsten, so no, only 3 artillery and then an extra gun. 3 civilian factories. Obviously, we do want to improve our economy, so more civilian factories, thanks. And yeah, so getting into our problems. So we have rampant unemployment, which reduces everything, except for fascism and communism support. Because we have experienced rapid industrial growth during the last few years of the Empire. However, that elapsed, and the long and bloody war with Falcor has left the nation in catastrophic economic decline. The Great Famine. So a great famine has struck our nation. Griffins are starving in the streets as they fight over bread and fish. Bread and fish, I love it. Okay, hold on. Yeah, had a bit of a issue there. Anyway, so yeah, with the Great Famine, we have political deadlock. Okay, the fall of the Empire has wrecked the Wingbardian political establishment. Government after government has collapsed as the country falls apart around them. Very historically accurate, or allo-historically accurate, as I believe the term is. Brain drain. Ever since the collapse of the Empire, best and brightest have left the country in search of better opportunities. So yeah, we have to deal with that as well. So, you know, pretty nasty stuff. Pretty nasty stuff. Now, the focus tree is pretty big. We first have to remove political deadlock over here before we are able to do any of this stuff. And to remove political deadlock, we're gonna have to make a choice. So there's 2 choices: either stop the march and become either democracy or stay as non-aligned, or you can go ahead with the march. And that either leads to communism or fascism. So we're going to take the march on Karthin. Piccolini's Black Wings plan to march on Karthin and attempt to seize power. The king's army can easily deal with the rabble, but there's no denying his popularity, and his rhetoric might perhaps offer a way to escape the current political situation. However, no one is quite sure what the communists plan to do. So here we go. We're going to charge ahead. So, our beginning is relatively slow, but not as slow as some other states around. We start as part of the Karthinian Pact. We are the leader of said pact, actually. And the fact that we lead the Karthinian Pact is, well, quite good. Because we can do some stuff with our allies soon, and they're actually not that weak. So that's good. They're going to provide with a pretty big boost. We start off with a relatively decent navy. And this relatively decent navy is going to be useful in the future. Get those submarines away, thank you very much. However, our air force is pretty bad, so that's something that you can upgrade. We literally have 4 naval bombers. It's always quite great. Anyway, we're not going to be paying that much attention to the outside world, except for a few countries, because we're mostly going to look at what kind of situation develops if we have to actually intervene or fight in it, because there's just so much going on that we can't really follow it all, nor can I properly explain it, because I myself have no idea what's going on. So it's not like Kaiserreich or Hearts of Iron 4 or anything like that. So one thing that's important though is the Griffin Liberation Army, so the threat of communism, because we're obviously going with the fascists, right? But yeah, like the threat of communism is going to be a big thing, and the Griffin Liberation Army, they start off with like a relatively small focus tree, where they have a bunch of focuses they can take to win the civil war that they're in. But then they can like expand a lot. So the Griffin Liberation Army can become the Griffonian Union, I think it's called, which is basically like, you know, another Soviet Union, and yeah, they can become pretty strong. Anyway, march on Karthin. We are gonna meet with Piccolini. The king should offer Piccolini an invitation to meet with him. Perhaps this Griffin, shall be the one to save the nation. So the march on Karthin. For months, the right-wing journalist Giulio Piccolini has been clamoring for the re-establishment of order in the streets of Wingbardy cities and in its government. His fascist party has garnered immense support, with many flocking to Piccolini's message of restoration of the ancient Wingbardian order. Many of these self-styled Blackwings are former soldiers and veterans, providing the PNF with a substantial paramilitary force. And there goes Grover V. Many moderates and socialists in the government were shocked to learn that King Garibald has no intention to stop a planned march on Karthin by the fascists. With government troops standing down, many in the capital nervously watch as thousands of black-clad fascists march towards them. What will he do once he arrives? Well, a fascist prime minister is what will happen. The king has invited Piccolini to form a government as prime minister. After a moment of hesitation, Piccolini has graciously accepted the position. All right. And there goes the Griffin Liberation Army's enemies, and they have turned into the Griffonian Revolutionary State. So they're clearly, you know, partially based upon the People's Liberation Army, all of that. And yeah, he becomes prime minister. Piccolini has formed a new cabinet, surprising most of the inclusion of socialist ministers, and has promised a swift end to the political deadlock. Experts are skeptical of his chances, but there is a certain sense of hope amongst the common Wingbardians. Perhaps the self-fashioned Duce may bring about order. Fascism is the way forward. So the Priwen Civil War ends, the Priwen Civil War being the conflict over here. And we are going to continue our own rise to power. So there's two options over here. We are going to go ahead and first go for secure the parliament so that we can get a bunch of political power. First, we crack down the communists. We have turned fascist, by the way, and we have 32% support for fascism. And we've gained the national spirit Garibald Talunel III, aka the Soldier King. The King of Brodfeld has declared war on the Priwen Republic. So it looks like after the first civil war, there's immediately a second civil war over here, which is quite interesting. These guys actually have a lot of support. I feel like that wasn't supposed to happen. That was not supposed to have happened. Let's see. They do have quite a lot of troops. Yeah, the counter-revolutionaries are rising up. Interesting. Speaking of anti-communism, let's continue the crackdown. Communism is banned in Wingbardy. In a surprise parliamentary result yesterday afternoon, all communist and socialist parties in Wingbardy have been banned under threat of a judicial prosecution. It was a close vote, but it is believed that the moderates were key for the motion to pass the floor. So yeah, we're creating a great fascist dictatorship. And once we secure the parliament, by taking care of the democratic opposition, we are going to be fully in control. We get political power and political power gain. So that we can start actually changing some laws and getting some advisors. And here comes another big civil war. Civil war in Longsword. Now, Longsword is... where is it? It's this country over here. It's like a griffin country right in the middle of everything. There's the nasty people, the county of Longsword. There's the Socialist Republic of Longsword and the Longswordian government. Of course, these people are also pretty nasty. Knightly Order of Hellquill, who can literally genocide people. Literally. Yeah, they've gone with a new Hellquill, which is the Knightly Order. They can literally make the ponies, like, slaves. Or, well, not really slaves, just beasts, which is even worse than slaves. Ah, well, electronic mechanical engineering, there we go. Yeah, we still have this research problem, of course, but, you know, we're gonna have to deal with that. And wow, the fascists have been eliminated already. Maybe the socialists are gonna win, which would be quite interesting to see. Quite interesting to see the socialist versus fascist showdown over here, over this river. Other big players to keep in mind in the playthrough are going to be, well, other than, again, Brewin and Equestria over here, other big players are going to be all the people in the River Coalition, which is this big alliance over here with all green color. And, again, the Griffonian Empire, which is going to be probably very fractured for a long time, but once they unite, they can become pretty nasty and pretty big. Alright, make the trains run on time. That's, again, a quote-unquote ALLOHISTORICAL reference. A tardy train is annoying, but a dozen late trains per day is economically unsustainable. So this is going to be increasing our construction speed and increasing the popularity of the fascism. So, no, well, okay. So the socialists have won. Interesting. Now, what can you do, actually? You can create the IRA. What does that mean? I have no idea. Two cultures, or free cultures. How interesting. Brotherhood and Unity. Okay, so it looks like they're Yugoslavia. Or, I don't know, whatever. Something closely resembling or alluding to Yugoslavia. We have decisions available, right, because we actually do have some political power, but I'm first going to wait until I can get, where is it? Do I even have a silent workhorse? No, it doesn't seem like it. That's pretty bad. That is pretty bad. Ah, well. Yes, let's increase that factory output. And Carcano MO7. Very good. New weapons. We are going to be using those weapons relatively soon. So let's start to produce those. In terms of our infantry, we start with that terrible template because we're like Italy. But we do have quite a lot of those templates. 14 to start off with. And we have, since we are Griffons, we have a nice unique unit, which is the Griffin Knight. It's really, really nice to use. Alright, so now that we have this, yeah, we can also take the other stuff over here. Fascism only. Glory to Wingbardy. What we're gonna do is we're gonna go down the public works, because that's gonna decrease the rampant unemployment problem. And yeah, I think I'm gonna be ending the episode right now, right here. Principality of Lushi declared war on Priquin. Oh, that might be pretty bad for you. Although, well, they did have troops on that border. Okay. But they're running out of guns, so, you know, it's kind of crazy, but Priquin might actually lose. Which would be a bit of a bummer, to be honest. Because Priquin is, like, one of the main antagonists that you're going to be fighting. But to be honest, it seems like they're going to win. Anyway, I was going to say, I might want to end the episode right here. Nova Graphonia declared war on Virgilia. Oh, he's expanding, obviously. And I'll be joining you once, well, something's going to be happening. Because one of the things about Wingbardy is that it's a nation where you have quite a bit of a build-up. Other states and other nations and other armies get dirty very early on, as you can see. There's a lot of people fighting around, but we have to, keep ourselves a little bit more on the quiet side for a while as we deal with the worst of our problems, because we have some pretty nasty ones. And then after we have those dealt with, then we can start to, seriously consider expansion. So yeah, that's what we're going to do for now. I want to definitely thank you all for watching. I hope that you've enjoyed so far. And as always, I hope that I'll see you soon.